Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Ronald W. Satz, founder and chair of the International Society of Unified Science and president of TransPower Corporation, a commercial and custom software manufacturing and certified systems engineering company. Today, as with most of my screencasts, we'll be discussing the reciprocal system and how it compares with conventional theoretical physics. Three topics today. We have Polaritons. I'll explain what those are in a moment. Stars in intergalactic space. Let's just scroll down here. And star formation in galaxies. So those are the three topics. Now let's go here, and as we like to do, we like to go to Science Daily for the latest research news. And by the way, I'm basically going back to my theoretical physics blog on WordPress and making the information available to my YouTube subscribers. So if you like the video, please like it and please subscribe. Okay, so topic here is spiral laser beam creates quantum whirlpool. Physicists have engineered a spiral laser beam and used it to create a whirlpool of hybrid light matter particles called polaritons. Hybrid particles that have properties of both matter and light could link electronics with photonics. Very interesting. Let's see what this says here. Quoting from theoretician Dr. Elena Ostrovskaya from the Research School of Physics and Engineering, creating circulating currents of polaritons, vortices, and controlling them has been a long-standing challenge. Wow, never heard this in college, I bet. We can now create a circulating flow of these hybrid particles and sustain it for hours. So it says here, polaritons are hybrid particles that have properties of both matter and light. The ability to control polariton flows in this way could aid the development of completely novel technology to link conventional electronics with new laser and fiber-based technologies. Polaritons form in semiconductors when laser light interacts with electrons and holes. You know, that's just another mythology of modern physics. Holes are supposedly positively charged vacancies. You know, it's garbage. So strongly that it's no longer possible to distinguish light from matter. So, I don't know. Let's just scroll down and see if there's anything else worth mentioning in this article. It says, well, it closes with this from the professor. Polaritonics is a rapidly developing research field all around the world. We hope we can build a network of groups researching these devices across Australia and joining the international effort. Let's go back. Now, in the reciprocal system, both subatoms and atoms are rotating photons. Atoms are not comprised of subatoms. They're actually rotating photons. I know that's going to shock most of you, but it's a fact of reality. The simplest rotating photons in the reciprocal system are the rotational bases. Sufficient kinds and amounts of rotation of photons form matter. The so-called standard model of particle physics cannot explain any of this, and we thank the experimenters for verifying the reciprocal system. So what they're basically doing is rotating photons. They're actually creating, they're probably creating electrons and positrons. So, and I said here, this was back in 2014, the microcosmos database is available. This is 2018 when I'm doing this YouTube video, and the macrocosmos database is also available. Alright, let's go on to stars in intergalactic space. Now this one comes from the United Kingdom, and rather than from Science Daily. It says here, background light suggests many stars outside galaxies. Of course, that's not a shock to the reciprocal system, but it's kind of a shock to the conventional theorists out there. It says here, a new study of the universe's background light has suggested that as many as half its stars might be hidden in the space between galaxies. Wow, isn't that interesting? Measurements were made by 2 cameras sent beyond the atmosphere in a rocket. After subtracting all the interference from dust and galaxies, the leftover light is ripples in it, which the study's authors ascribe to lone stars falling out during galactic collisions. Other scientists believe it comes from whole galaxies that are very distant. Well, that's not exactly right, but let's see if there's anything else here. Once all the non-background light, such as galaxies themselves, was discarded, you kind of surgically removed them from the images, Professor Bach said. The team was left the clean picture of the EBL. The brightness and the blueness of the light in that picture, they claim, support the idea that comes from stars stripped of their galaxies. Okay, it's interesting. And this last quote here, this is Professor Dunkley. There's so many, she should say there are so many galaxies out there. Very faint galaxies, very far away, and I don't think we've got a full census of those yet. Okay, well that's enough. Now this has been a long-standing position in the reciprocal system. There's no such thing as dark matter. There's simply ordinary matter between galaxies in globular clusters, too faint to be seen with existing telescopes. Now, of course, there are some stray stars out there which have been filling out in galactic explosions, perhaps in galactic mergers, etc. So there could be lone stars out there, but most of them are going to be in globular clusters. And the article doesn't even mention that. Okay, now let's move on to topic number 3 today. Star formation in galaxies. So now we're back to Science Daily again. And it says here, the party's over for these youthful compact galaxies. Scientists have uncovered young, massive, compact galaxies whose raucous star-making parties are ending early. The firestorm of star birth has blasted out most of the remaining gaseous fuel needed to make future generations of stars. Now the party's over for these gas-starved galaxies, and they are on track to possibly becoming so-called red and dead galaxies, composed only of aging stars. Well, let's see if there's anything else here worth mentioning. Let's see. So this Professor Sell says, if you stop the flow of cold gas to form stars, that's it, explained Sell, conducted the research. It's nonsense. Alright, enough silliness from that article. Now, according to the reciprocal system, galaxies grow by accretion of globular clusters and dwarf galaxies. New stars are not formed inside galaxies because the existing stars continually pull in all the dust and gas within the interstellar space. Of course, though, supernovae create new multiple stars or planetary systems from the existing material, but this is not the same as creating new stars per se. New stars first form in globular clusters. These are not the oldest entities in the universe, but the youngest. So please read Dewey B. Larson's astronomical masterpiece, The Universe of Motion, for all the details. Alright, so that wraps it up for today. Please study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself. The simplest possible explanation of the theory is my first work. It's called The Unmysterious Universe. It provides all the concepts, very nicely organized and illustrated. It's only $9.50 from Amazon or transpowercorp.com. Now, for all of you who want all the mathematics, I have Existence and Interactions, a computational treatise of the reciprocal system, the true theory of everything, 1,711 pages long in the PDF and 1,711 slides in the PPT file, thousands of equations, thousands of, well, not thousands, but numerous diagrams, but just thousands of equations. That'll keep you busy for months studying that work. That's only $33 from Amazon.com or transpowercorp.com. Now, if you've mastered the reciprocal system, that is, you've read Existence and Interactions, you would be ready for the 2 database modules, one for the microcosmos and one for the macrocosmos. The microcosmos database covers subatoms, atoms, photons, compounds, and alloys. All the properties, or I should say all the major properties of matter, are calculated there. I could not have done that using quantum mechanics or any other theory. The reciprocal system is the only theory one can use to calculate a priori all the properties of matter and compare them with the observed results. That proves the verification of the theory. Then I have the macrocosmos, which covers all the astronomical phenomena. But the universe as a whole, how big is it, what's the mass, etc. galaxy clusters, galaxies, star clusters, stars, planets, moons, minor bodies, nebulae, and voids. Very comprehensive. It's a relational database. You can go from the galaxy to the stars that it contains, etc. And the Microcosmos module is $295. The Macrocosmos module is only $195. Again, available from Amazon.com or transpowercorp.com. And also go to my theoretical physics blog site, www.reciprocalsystem.guru, where you can find a basic description of the theory, the principles of the theory, and a tremendous amount of information there. So that does it for today. Thanks for your attention. Please study the reciprocal system and prove it for yourself.